Well, Michael, this is bad. Ubisoft admits Star Wars Outlaws underperformed. Ryan Dinsdale over at IGN. Ubisoft has admitted its open world Star Wars Outlaws has underperformed and announced a Steam release date alongside a financial update from Ubisoft. Announced a number of significant changes at the company, including the delay of premier title Assassin's Creed Shadows. This came alongside word that Star Wars Outlaws had a quote softer than expected launch end quote in a November 21 release date for Steam. Quote, despite solid ratings, Metacritic of 76, and user scores across the first party and Epic Game Store 3.9 out of 5, that reflected an immersive and authentic Star Wars universe. Star Wars Outlaws' initial sales proved softer than expected, end quote, Ubisoft said. Quote, in response to player feedback, Ubisoft's development team are currently fully mobilized to swiftly implement a series of updates to polish and improve the player experience in order to engage a larger audience during the holiday season to position Star Wars Outlaws as a strong long-term performer. End quote. Star Wars Outlaws, long expected to be a disappointment for Ubisoft, shares plummeted to a near 10-year low shortly after its August 26th release date, and disgruntled investors even called the company to go private as a result of the slump. Michael, not good, dude. Again, right? I keep talking about Outlaws, and I keep playing the game, dude. I'm having a decent time, but excuse me, it's not hitting well with everybody.
Yeah, in this game, I mean, I think it was one of those where we probably, I think, underperformed what people wanted, right? I think we wanted that open world Star Wars feel, almost that like Star Wars Skyrim game, right? And that just hasn't hit. I think that has gone downhill. There was obviously the whole issue with, I mean, what was it? Day one patch. Hey, by the way, if you're on PlayStation, you potentially might lose all of your save data. That was not a great way to start either. And so it's just a culmination of factors. I mean, I just talked about it. I think not being on Steam, which is like where the go-to is if you want your game to be popular on PC. Even the Epic Games Store is a little bit behind Steam. I think not having it on there, that is going to hurt. I'm curious to see, as you said, we're going to get DLC. We're going to get a Steam release on the 21st. I'm curious how many people pick it up. Will that be enough? But yeah, this just seems like one bad news after another for Ubisoft. And I'm really curious if it just comes down to the fact that when you think of Star Wars, you think of Jedis, right? You think of Sith. You think of lightsabers. None of those are in this game. And I get it, they're not for everyone, but that is the draw, right? I mean, look at, you know, every other Star Wars game has always been set around the Jedi. So I'm curious, maybe that in the back of people's mind, it's like, I don't want to be a random rebel, right? I want to be able to be the next Luke Skywalker, the next Darth Vader, whatever. So I'm curious if that impacted it at all, or if it was maybe just, as we talked about, there's a lot of bugs, there's a lot of issues. Maybe this will be a No Man's Sky moment for them. They'll turn things around. They'll rise from the ashes. I don't think so. But DLC, Steam release, I think we'll at least see a little bit of an uptick in the holiday season. And I would say by like February, I would say by DLC 2, we're not even talking about this game. And it's another one of those 400 or 500 players. They're keeping the servers on. But man, remember Star Wars Outlaws? I think that's kind of the rate we're going at.
Which is disappointing, man, because so for me coming in, like, we played all the Jedi series and they're fantastic games. Right now Respawn's working on the third one, the final entry in the series. So the hype level for those has been great, right? The first one went well, but again, you're familiar with the Jedis, right? That's the whole thing. So when we get into Outlaws, I was excited because it's not focused on something we've been focused on for a decade. Dude, Force Unleashed, right, had the Jedi powers and the Force and all that was there. Like, we've been doing this for so long. So to get a fresh take, to be a scoundrel within the world of Star Wars and not have to worry about that stuff, I thought it was intriguing enough for me to pull me in. It just apparently didn't click for everybody. Sales are at an all-time low. The stock market for Ubisoft is at an all-time low. The boardroom right now is just furious with Ubisoft, right? We talked about it on the podcast. Maybe it's time for Yves to retire and move on. I think maybe getting some new faces in there, putting them in charge, and seeing what can come up might be the way to go for the future of Ubisoft. I think the highlight is them putting it on Steam right before the holidays. I think that might be a saving grace moment for them to help them get more sales. I still don't think it's enough.